Yo, it's your boy Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Well, happy Labor Day. We got baseball going on. I'm watching the Cubs and the Mariners. I wanted to go over some Monday night football action. So since we're getting very close to the regular season starting, I wanted to go on and do the NFL Top 10 ESPN Monday Night Football matchups. I got a top 5 for my personal and a top 10. So I figured I would just hop online, wish everyone a good Labor Day, and then as well as just go over some of the list and see what everyone is doing. Edgar Montoya. What's up, man? What'd it do? Hopefully you're having a good day. I got a good list here. Like I said, I was normally going to do the stream. Go Chiefs. Yeah, Chiefs Kingdom, baby. LaShawn McCoy, you like that? You like that? I know you do. Right now I'm going to be going to a barbecue here probably within an hour or so. Jake Lee, what up? I wanted to be able to pump out a video today without doing no video or later because I'm going to get home pretty late. And then I got my buddy's fantasy football draft that starts at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So by the time that's going to be done, it'll be probably like 10 p.m. or 10:30. So I got a lot on the plate. I wanted to be able to do this. Wayne Truckin', what it do? How's it going? Who dat Nation? Super Bowl, it's our year with Shady. I agree. Like I said, I really think it's going to be one of those things with the pickups that they've been able to make. Letting Carlos Hyde go to the Texans where they need some help. You moved on from him. Now you end up having Damian Williams, and then you end up having Shady McCoy. The Legion of Zoom. The rest of the pieces look so nice. This could be the year that the Patriots go down, and I don't care who beats them. I don't care if it's the Chiefs. I don't care if it's the Steelers. I don't care if it's the Colts. Any of the teams. I mean, the Colts obviously don't have Andrew Luck, so they're not going to be able to do it. But I'm talking about pretty much anybody. Chargers, they have injuries. So in all reality, the only real team that I feel that can knock off the Patriots this season is either going to be the Chiefs or possibly the Steelers, and that's it as far as the AFC is concerned. And then when we go to the NFC, it's a grab bag. I mean, we got the Eagles, we got the Saints, we got the Rams, and then with the Seahawks with Jadeveon Clowney, I mean, anything is possible. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. The Ducks loss killed me. Yeah, the thing is, it's not about, I mean, anyone can wear the jersey or anyone can root, when the team is doing good. But what about after the team loses? Can you still rock the jersey? Are you still okay? And of course, I mean, I wore one yesterday. I even did a video of the Shady McCoy hours after the Ducks loss. I didn't have to. I could have been in a bad mood and just said, fuck it and wait till the next day. But obviously, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. You got to congratulate, Auburn in a great win. The Ducks choked, unfortunately, towards the end, but I thought they played a good game. The offensive line is stronger. The defense played great, the best I've seen in quite some time. They're definitely playing better. But we'll have some more wins to be able to get, and when we can play UW and Washington State and some of the other rivalry games, we'll be able to get back at that. So I'm all right with that. But the Ducks loss was a little painful, especially when we could have won the game. It's not like we lost, 40-0 or 28-3. We legitimately had a shot. So that was a little disappointing. But, it is what it is. It's college football season, and that's the best thing about it. You'll be able to see how you can rebound after falling down. Can you get back up? And can you, move forward? And I think that they can. Damon Piacquadio, Eagles are going to be full strength week 1. I know. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Saints. There's so many great matchups that I'm looking forward to going over. Jason Lau, what to do? Hopefully everyone is having a good day. Penny Boy plays. Who dat? Who dat Nation? Sorry about my Ducks, man. That killed me that they lost that last second. But it was not only a good game, Jason Lau, it was a great game. And sometimes you'll see fans that act poorly. They don't have good sportsmanship. You didn't see me crying. You didn't see me whining. You didn't see me talking shit about Auburn. They played a great game. And that's what college football is about. Tomorrow, I'm going to end up doing a reaction video of Oklahoma and Houston. I was going to do it today, but Marcus wants to be a part of it, and he has some obligations at home. So he wasn't able to come today, so we're going to do that together tomorrow. So that way we can kind of go over that for you guys. But damn, Jalen Hurts, man, he looked great. I didn't get a chance to really watch the whole game. It's still on my DVR, so I want to be able to sit there and actually watch it all the way through. Me and Marcus will do the reaction video first, and then I'll end up watching the whole video later on tomorrow night. But yeah, like I said, it's a little bit early of a stream. I didn't know how many people were going to be available. It's Labor Day. I mean, people are chilling. I'm watching Cubs right now, just beat up on my Mariners. Great little rally from the Cubs. Obviously there, they had Zach Miller do the seventh inning stretch, take me out to the ball game, which was awesome with his son. And like I said, I figured I'd try to get one stream out before I have to go within probably about 30 minutes or so, just to kind of go over my matchup. LSU, Texas, I know, oh my God. I'm going to be going to Autzen for the first home game, so I got fourth row seats behind the duck bench, so I'm going to go see Nevada. You saw how they won with that 56-yard field goal by the freshman. Not only did he get the game ball, right, but he ended up getting a scholarship, if you guys saw that on Twitter or ESPN, which is awesome. So they're going to be confident coming in. I believe they were 8-5 last season. So the Ducks aren't going to have just a gimme rollover kind of game. They're still going to have to play good. That LSU Texas, though, is going to be on my DVR. I'm going to try to watch some of that if I can, streaming throughout my phone if possible. But that'll be one of the best games, and I'll definitely do a reaction video to that. But Jalen Hurts, yeah, we'll talk about the rushing and the passing. I mean, you didn't even really see guys like Baker or Heisman winner Kyler Murray pull off stats like that in their first starts. So they're definitely in the position to be in the running. Not only Jalen Hurts as one of the guys that could be in the running for a Heisman, right? But as long as the defense isn't as bad as it's been in the last couple years, because if you think about it, the offense for Oklahoma has always been great or above average or good, right? It's just the defense has just not been good. When they played Georgia or Alabama, they're giving up 40, 50 points. If you could just tighten up a little bit, Oklahoma could be in the running. Because, you got Clemson, you got Bama, right? You got Georgia, you got Oklahoma, and you got Ohio State. Those are the top 5 teams in the country, and I'm not sure if anyone else can really be in that mix. Yeah, you got LSU and a few other teams, but as far as the top 5, to me, those are the best 5 teams, period. And we're going to be able to see Texas and LSU. We'll have to see how that goes. But as far as ranked opponents playing, next week, that's going to be the game to watch. I'm really excited for that. If I wasn't going to Autzen and going to Eugene for that game, I'm taking my girlfriend and then I'm taking my friend that's never been to a college game or an NFL game before, ever. Any type of event, no Blazers, no Mariners, right? No Ducks, Beavers, Seahawks, nothing. So I'm really excited for his reaction when we go, but I'm excited to see what we're going to be able to do. So as I go over the list, I want to go over some of the matchups. Isn't it crazy? We are so close to NFL season starting. College football is already going, so I'm super excited. This is the favorite time of the year for me, period, hands down. College football, NFL. We're going to transition into the NBA, which is going to be exciting as hell. Probably the most excitement from NBA fans in the last 15 years, because it's not just the Warriors that are going to roll over everyone, right? Kawhi didn't stay in Toronto, so you got all these duos and triples that are going to be able to do something. We're going to have to wait till KD for another year. Clay obviously is out as well, but a new team is going to win a championship this season. Will it be the Clippers? Will it be Houston with Westbrook joining Harden? We don't know. Maybe Milwaukee. Giannis takes the next step. We're going to have to see what happens, but I'm definitely excited for NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball. We got wrestling with AEW and NXT Live that's going to be battling each other too. So all kinds of things as we're transitioning into the World Series and playoffs also. Dodgers, Astros, Yankees, a few other teams, Braves might be in it as well. A lot of sports. I'm super excited. Lenny D, what'd it do? Zion, yeah, that's another person to watch. RJ Barrett, right? John Morant. I'm excited. I'm going to go see John Morant when he comes to Portland, I think in February or March. So I got to wait a few months, but I already got tickets for that. So let's go over the list. The NFL Top 10 ESPN 2019 Monday Night Football matchups. And normally in years past, there's some clunkers. There's some snoozers. I don't know about this, but usually that's transitioned now to Thursday Night Football, where some of those matchups are kind of snoozers. They're not the greatest. But Monday night usually tries to give you the best possible matchups as you can get. So let me go over. This is my personal top 10. Not Colin Cowherd, nope. Not ESPN, nope. Not CBS Sports, not Fox 1, right? Not Skip and Shannon. This is mine, personal, all right? So let's just start it off. So I'm going to go to top 10, and then I'll go into my favorite top 5, and then I'll go over all the matchups for you guys, so you guys are familiar. You can circle your calendar, get your popcorn ready, as T.O. would say, and then we can go over that. So let's stop with number 10. We got an October 7th matchup, all right? And this October 7th matchup for me, so that's going to be week 1, 2, 3, 4, week 5 on October 7th. We got the Cleveland Browns at the San Francisco 49ers. And you're wondering, what's so special about that? Well, I think the Browns are going to be able to make the playoffs this season as a wild card. They could win the AFC North, but I still feel Pittsburgh, with the stability they have, with the draft picks they've had with Devin Bush, and just the way they're going to be playing with James Conner and Juju and Big Ben, they're going to have to play out of their minds to be able to overtake Pittsburgh. Can it happen? Yeah, but let's crawl before we walk. Let's not get too crazy. Let's just have them maybe make the wild card first and see what they can do. But to do that, they're going to have to play better than Baltimore, which is going to be a tough test because there's only going to be 2 spots available in the wild card. So the Chargers are going for a spot, the Ravens and the Browns are going for a spot, right? The Colts and the Texans are going for a spot, and then the Bills and the Jets are going. That's a lot of teams. So if the Browns want to be able to do that, we really need to see Myles Garrett take the next step. He needs to be a top 5 candidate for the MVP this season. He needs to break out that defense and show how great he really is. That's going to be really key for them. Baker Mayfield, I'm excited to see. Nick Chubb, Odell, Jarvis Landry, Njoku, right? So the offense is going to be nice. Can the defense match the offense? And at first I was thinking, will they be able to do it? But after watching Tampa Bay get murdered from the Browns and their front 7, and the way that they're playing with Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, and then you got Greedy Williams from LSU, which I love, right? This team is legit. I think they're very well balanced. Kitchens still is a project to me. I don't know if he's the guy that's going to get them over the hump, but if they end up making a wild card at 9-7, 10-6, don't be surprised. I mean, the Cleveland Browns are a team that everyone shit on and felt sorry for, like my Tampa Bay Bucks, right? Then they got Odell and everyone started talking shit, like, oh, they're just paper champs. Can't we just root for a bottom feeder team to be good again? And I know it's kind of a lot of hype that's going on out there, but I like seeing the lower teams be good again. I mean, once Tampa Bay ends up going like 10-6, regardless if you guys give a shit about me or Tampa Bay, right? I know you guys will be thinking of me when Tampa Bay ends up going 9-7, 10-6, because they've been so shitty for so long. You feel sorry for people that root for shitty ass teams, but then you also have respect, right, for that person to not give up and go bandwagon to New England or one of the top tier teams. I didn't do that. They haven't made the playoffs since 2007. It's going to be a long, long route. Just like, Detroit. Like, Detroit's another team. The Cardinals. I mean, there's a lot of bottom teams. It takes a while for small market teams to get good. Usually it takes 4 to 5 years to build. And you got to have a right GM in place, head coach, OC, DC, line coaches, special team coaches, and it trickles down to the rest of the players, and that's big facts. And then the San Francisco 49ers. At that point, Jimmy G should be rolling. You got George Kittle, a top 3 tight end in the league. You got Jalen Hurd coming in, Deebo Samuel. You already have Goodwin, Pettis. I mean, your offense looks nice. They've had some injuries there with McKinnon, so we know that obviously that's not going to be a viable piece that they can use. But they still got Breida. You still got Coleman from the Falcons. I like what they have. The offense should be solid. And then the defense on the flip side has got a lot of injuries, but Sherman should be able to come back better than he was last year. We'll see Bosa. We'll see a lot of the other pieces, Quan Alexander from my Bucks. So it should be an intriguing matchup, and we'll actually get to see, can the Browns win away from home? They can win at the dog pound, right? You can win in Cleveland, right? But can you win away from the dog pound? I need to be able to see it, and that'll be a key matchup for them, because if you win these type of games against a team that might not be a playoff team yet in the 49ers, but soon, within a couple years, they will be in the running to compete with the Seahawks and the Rams. If they overachieve this season, the most wins I see the Niners getting is maybe 8-8, right? But that's not bad. That's a huge improvement from last year to this year. But they're not going to be a team that you're going to just roll on, right? They're not going to be like the Cardinals. You're going to have to bring your A game. Number 10, October 7th, Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. A lot of people talk shit about him. There's a difference between swag, right, cockiness, and confidence. And he's got the swag and the confidence. And some people think that he's just cocky and he's a punk. But I don't believe that at all. I think he's misunderstood, kind of like Cam Newton. And I really am excited that they have a leader like that they can look into, believe in. And it's just a better fit for their team. If they would have went Sam Darnold, you still would be a good team. But it doesn't give you that same LeBron James, Baker Mayfield swag that Cleveland needs for a team that hasn't been good in a long time. They need that. And I really love Baker Mayfield. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I love him. I'm rooting for him, and I want them to be a good team again. And I think they picked the right person in Baker Mayfield, even though that was very stunning when we saw him get picked first in the draft. Number 10, October 7th, Week 5, Browns and Niners. Going to be a fun matchup to watch. All right, let's go to number 9. Number 9 is going to be on November, I believe, 25th. So November 25th, let's see what week that is. So no, that'll be week 12. So week 12 matchup is deeper into the season. Both of these teams are going to be in the running to try to be able to make a playoff push. One team will be a little bit better than the other, but we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, I think the Rams and Seahawks are going to be going head to head. We're going to have to see how it really pans out at the end of the season. Most people have the Rams still winning the division, but the Seahawks with Jadeveon Clowney are going to get closer to pushing them. If the Seahawks beat the Rams this season and get first place in the NFC West, would I be surprised? No, I wouldn't. The Jadeveon Clowney piece is very huge, right? Poona Ford, adding those pieces to that front seven. They are a little thin at wide receiver. I get it, right? But Russell Wilson can do so much for that roster. And then obviously they don't have Sue anymore. They lost some pieces on the defense. But I still like the Rams' chances to make the NFC Championship game. They're one of 3 teams that I really believe in. New Orleans Saints, right? Philadelphia Eagles, Los Angeles Rams, and then if I had to throw in another team that could make that run, I'm thinking it might be the Chicago Bears with that elite defense, but I can't count out, obviously, the Seahawks and the Cowboys and a few of these other teams. You never know how hot you can get in November and December, but as far as the Ravens are concerned, that's going to be a tough one. You're on the road, Lamar Jackson, you're going to have to play great. You got Mark Ingram, right? You got Earl Thomas on the back end, so your defense lost some pieces. T-Sizzle's on the Cardinals. Ray Lewis ain't coming through the door, right? Ed Reed isn't coming through the door. But you got Hollywood Brown, and you have a few other pieces. Mark Andrews should take his game to the next level at the tight end position. I like the Ravens, but I don't like them better than the Browns or the Steelers this season. They won the division last year, I believe, at 10-6. I think that they'll go somewhere around 7-9, 8-8. It's not really because I think they're a bad football team. I just think that the Browns have more balance and the Steelers have more balance as we're going into 2019. But even with that being said, on November 25th, as we look at the schedule there, Week 12, I think it's just going to be a sexy matchup, though, because the defense will play hard. The Rams will play, obviously, to win and win big. And I'm excited to see Cooper Kupp, best friend, Goff and the Goffense. And is Todd Gurley going to be playing in this game? Will he be healthy? Right? Will we see Darrell Henderson more? Will he be starting at that point? But they got Cooks, they got Kupp, they got Woods, right? You got pieces on pieces on pieces. But really the development and the structure and pretty much the play calling with Sean McVay will show how great they really are. And then if Todd Gurley is healthy at that point, instead of being a team that's going to make the playoffs, right? This could be a team that could be a Super Bowl contender, which I think they are. Like I said, I have them, the Rams, the Saints, and the Eagles as the front-running teams, and then you have other teams right behind them, like maybe the Bears and the NFC. But I like those teams as far as coaching, right? Stability, offense, defense, and the whole 9 yards. D coordinator with Wade, they got something going there. So number 9, November 25th, Ravens at Rams should be intriguing. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think hopefully the Ravens will bring their A game with Lamar Jackson, and we'll see him hopefully stay in the pocket a little more. He's going to scramble like Michael Vick and run for his life because he's going to have to, but his development in the pocket is going to what really dictates how great they're going to be, because if he's scrambling and taking chances and getting blasted on the sidelines, you're going to get hurt, and we're going to be able to see that. So number 9, Ravens at Rams, November 25th. Number 8 is a matchup that we have at the very beginning of the season in the doubleheader, right? September 9th, Week 1. The second game in the doubleheader intrigues me a lot. I'm talking about the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders, all right? So 2 teams that aren't going to make the playoffs, in my opinion, right? 2 teams that are going to be battling for third place in the AFC West. One's going to get it, one's not, right? One team is going, I feel, in one direction, and the other maybe going in a downward direction or maybe a spiral. I can't say that just yet because this is the beginning of the season, but with the Raiders, they're going to be moving to Vegas. Everyone's kind of sleeping on them. They're thinking, they're not going to be that good. But if you watch Hard Knocks and you watch Gruden, they're taking the persona of their head coach, right? I feel that they're going to play better than people think. Originally, about a month and a half ago, I had the Broncos 3, Raiders at 4 at the bottom of the division. I've flipped now. I think the Raiders are going to get third place in the division, and they're going to be competitive, and I got the Broncos 4th. I know they got Flacco, but is it Flacco or Wacko? Which one are we getting, right? I love Phillip Lindsay. I love Royce. We'll have to see what Sanders can do. He looked great in preseason off the Achilles. I think he'll be able to show how great great he really is. Cortland Sutton, Hamilton. You have some pieces there, right? Noah Fant has kind of struggled a little bit, and then we saw obviously with the rookies, Locke, some of these guys have gotten banged up a little bit. One thing I can say for sure is Von Miller is going to play elite. Bradley Chubb is going to have a breakout year. Harris is amazing, right? So it's not like I think this team is going to be horrible, right? But the defense is really going to have to lead them, the Denver Broncos. You're going to have to see Chubb and Vaughn combine for like 30 sacks. And you're going to have to be able to get a lot of plays from that Denver Bronco defense. But I like the Raiders team a little bit better, just with Josh Jacobs, Antonio Brown, even though with the frostbite, I think that'll be okay. And then you end up having nice pieces like Jonathan Abram on the back end. You got 3 solid starters on your safety, running back, and DN with Cleveland Farrell moving forward, right? You lost Khalil Mack and you ended up losing Amari Cooper, but I think it was maybe for the best for this franchise. Not the Khalil Mack part, but Cooper you could let go. Mack is going to hurt, but if you end up getting good production from Farrell, Josh Jacobs, and obviously Jonathan Abram on the back end, it's going to loosen the blow a little bit from losing a superstar like Khalil Mack. So, but I do like the Raiders, and it's going to be exciting to see the black hole, see how the Broncos respond going on the road. I have the Raiders winning that game, and I think Carr will start to get back to that MVP-ish year that he had a few years ago before they went down with the injury. I'm not saying that they're going to be winning, 11, 12, 13 games, because I don't think the Raiders are going to do that. The Chiefs are going to win the AFC West easily. They're the best team, arguably, in football right now. They're the best team in the AFC right now, to me. I mean, the New England Patriots are a team that you always have to say because of Brady and Belichick, the respect factor, they always get there. But as far as the best record at the end of the year, I believe is going to be by the Kansas City Chiefs, 13 to 14 wins, at the very least 12, but I'm thinking 13 or 14. They're that strong. So we're going to have to see how the Raiders and Broncos step up, as well as the Chargers. With Derwin James being out, this Melvin Gordon fiasco, Keenan Allen not being 100%, they're still going to be a great team. They have a chance to get a wild card at 10, 11 wins, but they're not as strong as last year's team, especially without Derwin James and especially with the Melvin Gordon issues. So look for the Raiders to overachieve. I could see the Raiders getting as high as 8-8 this season. I know that sounds crazy to some people. They could go to reality and go 5-11 or 6-10, but I could see the Raiders competing a little harder for Gruden. He's got the aura and the swag. They're playing hard for him. They went 3-1 in preseason, and if AB has a great year and doesn't get banged up at all, I think the relationship with Jacobs, AB, and Carr will be special, especially when they move to Vegas. Within the first 3 years they move to Vegas, they are going to make one wild card appearance, and make sure you mark that down, because I know they're going to do it. 9 or 10 wins within the next 3 years, not this season, but once they go over to Vegas, they'll be able to probably knock off the Chargers, have them go down a slot, and I think that they can get there. All right, Broncos at Raiders, September 9th, the second game in the doubleheader to open the season. I have that matchup as number 8, just because of Vaughn and Chubb, AB, Josh Jacobs. I'm excited to see what happens. All right, let's end up going here to number 7. Number 7 is a matchup of one of my favorite teams in the NFL, period. It's the New Orleans Saints. I love them. Drew Brees is motivated. You have the Minneapolis Miracle, right? You ended up having the bullshit pass interference call against the Rams in the NFC Championship game. If any team is hungry, or the hungriest team in the league going into this 2019 season, it's hard to argue that New Orleans Saints aren't at the top of that list as far as hunger factor based on what happened to them in the last 2 years. December 16th, right? A week before Christmas, roughly, the Colts at the Saints is intriguing to me. Are the Colts going to be able to beat the Saints in the Dome? No, right? If they had Andrew Luck, would they be able to beat the Saints in the Dome? No, not in my opinion, but it would have been a closer of a game. But I think at this point, if the Colts somehow, some way win this game and surprise everyone, right? Not only will everyone be woke with Brissett, but also to show you how balanced of a team that this organization is built, right? With their roster, with Reich, with Ballard. Brissett is better than people are giving him credit for. You got Marlon Mack, you got Hines, you got T.Y., Paris Campbell, you got Ebron, you got Doyle. I mean, you got lots of pieces on the offense, and they won't turn the ball over. They'll be very disciplined. Now, with the Texans making all these big moves, we're getting Tunsil and getting Kenny Stills, they're starting to solidify. The Dolphins are tanking. I mean, obviously, you guys can see that. They're getting rid of all their pieces. Kiko's going to the Saints. Everyone's going everywhere, right? So we know they're openly tanking. But as far as that rivalry between the Colts, right, and the Houston Texans, it's getting real. We don't really know who's going to win that division. Most people think it's going to be the Texans. I still think the Colts have a great chance to do it. It's going to be tough, to see what happens in that game. But the Colts at the Saints, Darius Leonard, Quentin Nelson, my favorite offensive lineman in the NFL, period, right? We'll be able to see what they can do on both sides of the ball, Malik Hooker. And then with the New Orleans Saints, you got Drew Brees, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league, AK-41, the alien, Alvin Kamara. He's my favorite running back in the league, period. And I'm a Bucs fan. So that should say something. Javon, what'd it do? So I really am excited for this matchup. Like I said, I think it might be closer than people think. The Dome is hard to win, so it is possible the Saints rout them and win by 14 or more, 17 or more. But I want to be able to see the Colts fight because it's such of a late matchup in the season. It's the second to last Monday Night Football matchup. So if somehow, some way they win that game or at least keep it close, it's going to open people's eyes in the AFC. Hey, maybe the Colts are the fourth best team in the AFC. Maybe it goes Chiefs, right? Patriots, Steelers, and then maybe instead of those other teams like the Browns, maybe the Colts are the fourth or fifth best team in the AFC. I could definitely see that happening, and that's a big matchup for them, especially for playoff implications, division implications between the Texans and the Colts. They're going to need that game. I don't know if they can get it, right? And chances of them winning that game is probably 10% because the New Orleans Saints in the Dome are so hungry, but I'm excited to see that matchup as we're moving forward. Number 7, December 16th, the Colts and the Saints. And let's not forget about Michael Thomas, MT13. He got his bag. He got his money. He's going to have an amazing season. So I know DeAndre Hopkins is in most people's books as the number 1 wide receiver. Let's not be surprised at the end of the season if Michael Thomas's numbers are very similar to Hopkins, if not better, right? And then AB with the Raiders. I know it's not Big Ben, it's Carr, but I like to see those top 3 guys really start solidifying the way, and there'll be guys like Julio and other guys like Odell and a few other receivers that are going to speak otherwise, Mike Evans for the Bucs and a few others, but I'm really excited for that matchup. Number 7, Colts and Saints, right? December 16th. Number 6 is another matchup that I have that includes the New Orleans Saints. That's kind of a trend that I have here. It's the first game of the fucking regular season, September 9th, week 1, Houston Texans at the Saints. Them getting Tunsil, them getting Stills. Deshaun Watson actually is going to have someone protect him, which is exciting. DeAndre Hopkins is the best wide receiver in the league, right? You got Carlos Hyde, and obviously you end up having Duke Johnson. So now they're teammates again from the Cleveland Browns. They reunite. It's not as good as Lamar Miller, right? But at least you got someone in there to be able to help out, Deshaun Watson, and so he's not running for his life. J.J. Watt. Clowney's no longer there, so that's going to be a hit. But I'm really excited to see what the Texans can do. I have the Saints winning this game, but I still think it's going to be intriguing because you get to see a number 1 wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. You get to see probably a top 10, top 12 quarterback in DeAndre Hopkins, right? In fantasy terms, he might be a top 5 fantasy quarterback this season. It's possible, right? And then the Saints, Drew Brees, Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jared Cook. I'm excited to see Sheldon Rankins come back from injury. You got Kiko Alonso. You got Demario Davis, Von Bell. You got Marshawn Lattimore. I can go on and on and on with the team, but Texans at the Saints, to me, is going to be one of the sexier matchups, and it's cool to have a matchup with that intrigue and that excitement. The Saints should win that game at home. The Raiders should beat the Broncos on that same opening week at home, but you never know. We'll have to end up seeing how these teams get coached up, and I'm excited to see some big plays, not only for me, but for the rest of the country. Number 6, September 9th, the opener, Texans at the Saints. Number 5, I have a matchup. Is one of my favorite matchups here living in the Northwest, period. Whenever these two teams play, I always watch both matchups very carefully. The 49ers are a team that I rooted for when I was a kid. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Roger Craig, Dion in 94. The best Dion of all Dions, that 94 49er Dion, right? Ken Norton, Merton Hanks. There's the list goes on and on and on, right? Steve Young, right? The Seahawks at the 49ers, November 11th. So November 11th is going to be week 10. It's going to be interesting to see what the Seahawks record is at that point with Clowney. Is he still playing? How is Carson running? Are they going to get him involved in the passing game more? I believe they will. Danger Russell Wilson is amazing. He's going to be one of those guys that you better not sleep on him because Russell Wilson can lead this team over the Rams and win the division, I believe, with Clowney now. But it all depends on the rest of the wide receivers. Jazz Ferguson, Tyler Lockett will get it done. He's the number 1. But what about the rest? I don't know about DK Metcalf as kind of like a underdog team, Jimmy G. They got lots of weapons. They're, in a few years into their rebuild. It's going to take a few more years to get to a point where you're contending to win the division, or at least maybe competing with Seattle for a wild card. But I wouldn't sleep on them. The Seahawks don't play as good on the road than they do at home in front of the 12th man. Just like any NFL team, you play better at home. But I want to see the Seahawks be able to show me, hey, can you win a tough game on the road against your division rival, one of the hated rivals in the division, the Niners, right? Number 5, November 11th, Seahawks at Niners. I'm watching that game very, very closely, all right? Number 4, another matchup I watch every season. When these teams play every season, I want to be able to watch to see what happens with these teams. So we got December 23rd, so that's going to be right towards the end, the last Monday Night Football matchup that's there, right? Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings. So it's going to be one of those things that I have to be able to see with the Packers and the Vikings. Will the Packers actually be in the playoff hunt at this point? I mean, some people think that they are. Me personally, I think the Vikings or Bears are going to win the division. And if the Bears win the division, I think the Vikings are going to be the wild card. The Packers might be the odd team out. I'm not sure where their record's going to be. Is it going to be 8-8, 9-7? Because I think that the Vikings and Bears can win 10 or 11 games this season. But if Aaron Rodgers and that team is healthy with Aaron Jones, this is going to be a bigger game for the Vikings than it is for the Packers. Because at this point, if the Packers are 7-9 or 8-8, they're out of it. But for the Vikings at this point, they could be sitting at a 10-5 record, the last game of the regular season. They could be 11-5. They could be somewhere in that range with one game to go. So if they want to end up beating the Bears, right, for the division, this might be the game that they need to do it. It's all going to be about playoff positioning, wild card, or winning the division. But the Packers and Vikings always bring it. It's one of my favorite matchups to watch every year. Even though Kirk Cousins isn't good as Aaron Rodgers, they have more balance on their football team. Dalvin Cook, right, Kyle Rudolph, Stephon Diggs, Thielen. One of the best duos at wide receiver. They got plenty of guys on defense. Harrison Smith, right, is still one of the top 8 safeties in the league. You end up getting Xavier Rhodes close. Lots of guys up front with Danielle Hunter and a lot of the rest. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Packers at Vikings, last Monday night game. Playoff implications, you better believe it. And that's my number 4 matchup, December 23rd, Packers at Vikings. All right, Number 3 is a matchup you're going to think, why do I have this so high? But it's because I like seeing second-year players develop into the superstars that they can be. The third most anticipated matchup for me in Monday night, and it should be yours too, regardless if you give a shit about the Browns and the Jets. It's September 16th. It's week 2. We're talking about Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Nick Chubb, Le'Veon Bell, right? And we're talking about Odell, and we're talking about the rest of the Browns going up against the Jets. Jamal Adams, all-pro. My favorite safety in the league, not named Derwin James. He is arguably the best safety in the league, not named Kevin Byard, right? Derwin James was up there too, but he got injured. But look for Jamal Adams to take his game to the next level, right? You got C.J. Mosley, Hall of Famer in my book. He played all his time in, obviously with Bama, and then went to the Ravens. That was a big loss for me. If C.J. Mosley was still on the Ravens, then you could probably say maybe the Cleveland Browns wouldn't make the playoffs this season. With him jumping ship and going to the Jets, that's huge. Quinnen Williams up front, C.J. Mosley in the middle. Obviously you got Jamal Adams in the back end. That's some of the best front, middle, and back end talent that you're going to have moving forward in this NFL season in 2019 and beyond. And then with the Cleveland Browns, you got Myles Garrett, you got Denzel Ward, you got Greedy Williams, you got a lot of other pieces there. But I want to specifically see Baker Mayfield go on the road, just like he's going on the road with the Niners on October 7th, September 16th, the second week. Sam Darnold at home. Can we see him take the next step? How is his relationship with Le'Veon Bell and Ty Montgomery? I want to be able to see them be able to make plays. And then we're going to have to be able to see different options at wide receiver. Crowder, who's going to be the guys that are going to step up for Sam Darnold moving forward. That's going to be interesting to see. But the Browns and the Jets, just because I like the development of Baker Mayfield in the second year, the development of Sam Darnold in his second year, when Big Ben, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, and all these quarterbacks retire, who's going to be left right, in the AFC and NFC to take over that next role of being a new stud quarterback. It's going to be Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. They're going to be two of those guys, not to forget Josh Allen on the Bills. These guys are going to start taking the next step and showing you how good they really are. They're going to be exciting. The Browns, Jets, and Bills haven't been exciting for a long time, but moving forward, I believe they will be. And the Browns and the Jets will be competing for one of the wild card spots this season. And if one of those teams gets in with one of those spots, or maybe if both of these teams get in with those spots, don't be shocked. I think that they have a legitimate shot, to fight with either Houston, if the Colts get it, or the Colts. One of those teams is going to be fighting. The Chargers will be fighting. But the Bills, the Jets, the Browns are going to be fighting. So I'm excited to see what happens in the AFC wildcard picture. Browns, Jets, my third most anticipated matchup, period, on Monday night. It's lit. I'm so excited to watch these teams battle it out. Chubb versus Le'Veon Bell, right? Baker versus Sam Darnold. The wide receivers, obviously, for the Browns going against Jamal Adams and C.J. Mosley. That's exciting. I can't wait. Number 3, September 16th, week number 2, Browns at the Jets. And now we go to my top two matchups. And my top two matchups are very intriguing. It's very special because this is going to be really a playoff push. It's going to be based off playoff positioning. December 2nd, my number 2 team, that's going to be week 13. I think this might be one of the best games of Monday night all year because I think it's going to be really, really close. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the Minnesota Vikings. Go! And the Seattle Seahawks in the 12th man, right, late in the season, week 13. The Seahawks are trying to win the division or get the wild card. The Vikings are going to try to win the division or get the wild card. Would it surprise me if both these teams finished first in the NFC North and the NFC West? No. Would I be surprised if the Bears win and the Vikings get the wild card and the Rams win and the Seahawks get the wild card? No. That's what's going to happen, I feel, this season. The Vikings and Seahawks are either going to win their divisions or get in the wild card. So this is going to be maybe a playoff preview in the NFC, right? We want to be able to see good talent play against good talent. Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, both teams have the depth. Adding Clowney gives them that extra edge. Poona Ford and some of the other pieces. Yes, I know you lost Frank Clark, but Clowney is in. Earl Thomas is going to be one of those pieces to keep an eye on. Since he's not there anymore for the 12th man, they're going to have to be able to get a lot of pressure up front to hide that weakness on the back end. But when you have Russell Wilson, anything is possible. I'm really excited about the Vikings and Seahawks to see if the Vikings can actually win on the road in one of the most hostile environments in the NFL, in Seattle with the 12th man. And then I want to be able to see if Russell can actually move the ball at home against a stout defense, which I think they're going to get back to where they were a couple years ago with Xavier Rhodes, right? With Harrison Smith on the back end and that front seven. Barr was going to go to the Jets and came back. Danielle Hunter, they got pieces on pieces on pieces. They're very well balanced, and we're going to have to see what comes of it in December 2nd, week 13, Vikings and Seahawks. That's my number 2 matchup to keep an eye on. Circle your calendar, right? Get the popcorn ready because I'm going to be. All right, now we go to number 1. The best matchup on Monday Night Football, right, is November 18th. All right, it's week 11. This matchup last season was incredible in both the matchups. Both the teams finished 12-4, 12-4, 12-4. One team has Derwin James injured, Melvin Gordon fiasco. The other team lost in the AFC Championship by a coin toss with Patrick the Clone Mahomes. They've gotten better, adding Frank Clark. You got Juan Thornhill, Honey Badger. You got plenty of pieces in there. McCole Hardman, the Legion of Zoom. I honestly feel that the Kansas City Chiefs at the Chargers is going to be the best game because not only is it going to get them battle tested to win on the road. If they have to go to New England and win on the road, I believe that they'll be able to do it this season if it comes out to be that way. But if they have home field advantage and you got to come to Kansas City and you got to be able to go there to be able to get to the Lombardi opportunity and win in the AFC Championship game, it's going to be really tough to win there. And I feel that only one team can do it on the road, which would be New England, right? The Pittsburgh can come in, but I don't think that they're going to be good enough to win in obviously Kansas City with that Chiefs kingdom playing the way that they're going to play this season. Kansas City Chiefs, I have them going to the Super Bowl. I have them going to the AFC Championship game. Normally, I always pick New England by default because of Belichick, Brady, McDaniels. They just always find a way to get there. They can be 10-6, 11-5, 12-4. But I feel with the additions on defense, the D coordinator change, right? The weapons on offense, how Mahomes is going to play. This is the year. I'm a Bucs fan, and I'm saying it. This is the year you get past New England. You get your revenge. Sometimes you got to lose before you win to be able to get there. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to win the Super Bowl, right? Because if the Saints get there, or the Eagles get there, or the Rams get there, or the Bears get there, that's going to be a tough opponent. It's going to be hard to win. But if they win the Super Bowl this year, would I be shocked? No. I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I would also be rooting for the Saints with Drew Brees and that storyline. And then if it ends up being Eagles versus the Chiefs, what a great storyline with Andy Reid playing against his former team. Anything is possible. Even the Rams getting back, even though it's tough to get back-to-back Super Bowls. Usually New England can do it. Other teams typically can't. So I'm not sure if the Rams have the talent to do it this year, but I have obviously the Saints and the Eagles a little bit higher on my totem pole than the Rams or the Bears, but anything's possible. But I do like the Chiefs' chances of going to the AFC Championship game and winning this season, regardless if it's against New England or not. And then if they go to the Super Bowl and then Mahomes is healthy and a good chunk of that roster is healthy, don't be surprised if they walk away with the Lombardi with Andy Reid. I think it's possible. And if they don't get it this year and you play like the Saints and Drew Brees gets to walk off in the sunset and you guys lose the Super Bowl, it's going to hurt. But guess what? You'll be right back there next year, because I feel that their team is long-term building for about a 5, 6, 7-year run. Most teams have a 4-year window, and then they start to collapse with free agency and whatnot. But I think with Mahomes and a lot of these guys, they're going to be willing to take less money to stick together, kind of like the Golden State Warriors did for a while. So I think the Chiefs are inevitably going to be a Super Bowl champion. It just depends. Is it going to be this year or is it going to be next year? But I love the Chiefs at the Chargers. Like I said, even if Melvin Gordon is there, even if Derwin James was there, it's going to be one of those back and forth games. But since Derwin James isn't, and obviously with Melvin Gordon, will he be playing or not? We'll have to see. But I think this will be a good test November 18th. So as we go into that list, that's week 11. It'll show you how battle-tested the Chiefs are in a harsh environment, playing on the road. And if they end up beating the Chargers by 14 or more, you're going to feel confident as a Chiefs fan. Hey, we can beat a good team in the NFL like the Chargers. Now we're going to have to be able to beat a team like New England, or the Eagles, or the Saints, or the Rams, or the Bears, or whoever it may be. But I think the Chiefs' chances, to me, this season, they're going to have the best record in football, which means 13 or 14 wins, which also means that they're going to have home field advantage. And I don't know if anyone can go in to Kansas City and win. They have the best fan base besides, I feel, player for player, like the loudness or with the decibel level that they broke, taking Seattle. Obviously, the 12th man in Seattle, we know that's a hard place to win. But I feel the hardest places to win in football today, Kansas City 1, I think Seattle 2, and I think Nolans Saints in the Dome is 3. Those are really tough places to win. You could probably put New England up there as well. You don't win games in these places that often, and if you do, you have to bring your A+++ game, not turn the ball over, and you got to hope that the other team plays mediocre, and we don't know if that's going to happen. But the Kansas City Chiefs at the Chargers, that's my number one matchup, November 18th, and that's going to be week 11. So that is the show. Let me scroll up here and kind of go over the comment section and just say what up to everyone. Edgar Montoya, what it do? Jake Lee, what's up? Wayne Trucking, who dat? Jake Lee, the Ducks loss killed me. It definitely did. Damon P. Aquadias, the Eagles are going to be full strength week 1, which I'm very excited. That's going to be great for the NFL. Everyone that hates on the Eagles, you guys are going to see how great the Eagles roster really is and how many wins they're going to get and how they're going to beat the brakes off of everyone in the division, right? And they're going to be 11-5 and going to the playoffs this season. Carson Wentz will be back in MVP form. Jason Lau, what it do? Saints Super Bowl. Penny Boy plays. Very possible. I could definitely see the Saints and the Chiefs, which should have been last year. That should have been the matchup last year that we had. We got robbed and seeing the Rams and the Patriots. It should have been the Chiefs and the Saints, right? But maybe we'll get that this year. That's what I'm hoping. Let's see here. Cooper, what up? Jalen Hurts for Heisman. He looked great. Absolutely. We're going to be doing that reaction. LSU, Texas is Saturday. I'm so excited for that. Like I mentioned early on, I'm definitely going to be able to record that game, and when I get home from Autzen late that night, it'll be probably, I don't know how late it's going to be. I'll probably be home around 8 or 9, maybe 10, but I'll definitely be watching that game in full, and then we'll be doing a reaction video to that. Definitely, I'm excited for that matchup, though, LSU and Texas. Let's see here. You think since the loss was at the beginning of the season, it won't hurt us if we win the rest of the games? Well, even if they don't win the rest of the games, we just want the Ducks to be in a good bowl game at the end. UW on the road, Stanford on the road. I mean, there's going to be some tough games for the Ducks to overcome. But like I said, the O-line looks better. They have 2 guys that are going to go to the NFL on the line. The defense looks better than it has in years past. Herbert didn't make enough plays towards the end, and we had our top 3 wide receivers and some of our other positional players injured prior to the game even starting. So we'll be okay. You played a good good team on neutral site. It's not like the game was in Autzen, right, and Eugene, right, and you lost a heartbreaker there. You got to give respect where respect is due. No pity party, no crying, no whining, no talking shit. Just this is how it went. We were ahead, right? You missed a field goal from like 5 yards away. You had the read option play that bounced off the running back's hip, which they almost ran back for a touchdown. You didn't play clean. The other team came up big. Bo Nix, the freshman. Give credit where credit's due, just like I do in the NFL. Did the loss hurt? Of course it fucking did, right? But the better team won at the end of the day, and I still think the Ducks can lose maybe 2 or 3 games when the season's all over and still go to a good bowl game. For them to run the table the rest of the way, I don't think is very likely. I mean, could it happen? Possible. But UW, Washington State, Utah, Pac-12 championship game. It's going to be tough because we might not even make the Pac-12 championship game. It could be UW. It could be Oregon. It could be Washington State. And then if somehow you win against those teams and it's Oregon, Utah, you might lose to Utah. They're a pretty solid team themselves, So we'll have to kind of wait and see. But I love my Ducks forever. Obviously, I wore the jersey yesterday. I'll wear it today. It's Eugene for life for me. And I'm going to the game next week, 4th row behind the Duck bench. Going to root them on against Nevada, which won't be an easy game. But I'm excited to see Herbert in person this season since I saw him 4 times last season. Let's see here. Kickoff Thursday, Green Bay and the Bears. Ooh, I love that matchup. That's going to be one of the sexiest matchups all year. They played last year, and it went down to the wire with Rodgers going to Cobb and getting that touchdown. So it's going to be a very exciting game. Lenny D, what up? Zion Williamson, we'll have to see how he progresses. That's very correct. Craven LeBlanc to 1 year. Good move by Howie. Yeah. Any moves that that Howie makes, Howie Roseman, to me he's a top 3 GM in the league. Any little pieces that you can add on to get the depth that you're going to need it. And like I said, Adams got released, Smallwood got released, so you kind of cut your core to the 4 horsemen again instead of 6. So you had the new Wentz order. Now it's a little bit less. You got the 4 horsemen back again. So you want to make sure that you have enough carries for everyone, with Miles Sanders and Howard, and you got Sproles that you'll be mixing in on 3rd down, so it'll be exciting there. Jason Lau, I don't think Buffalo or Jets make the playoffs, but that's what you think. Right? But the thing is, you could say the Chargers and you could say the Browns or you could say the Colts. Those are easy ones to say. But what if the teams take the next step? It's possible. It's hard to predict. Anyone can say the obvious, right? But it always takes someone to go outside the box and look at the roster that they've built. And I think there's a good chance that one of those teams could. It may not be this year, but they could. And pretty soon they're going to be competing to getting closer and closer to New England's win total. I'm not saying they're going to be better than New England because they won't be. But once Brady retires and Buffalo and the Jets keep working and getting better, they got Le'Veon Bell. You got some nice pieces. Jamal Adams is one of the best players in football. C.J. Mosley is one of the best players in football. Quinnen Williams has a chance to show how great of a football player he is from Bama on the line. Buffalo's been adding nice pieces. Cole Beasley, John Brown, right? Josh Allen is getting the pieces. You released Shady McCoy, but you got Frank Gore. You got Singletary. You got Yeldon. The defense with Edmonds, right? You got lots of pieces there. Ed Oliver up front. No one's talking about him and how he could be great for that team, right? You got pieces on pieces all around the lineup. You just got to kind of wait and see. Most people are sleeping on Buffalo or the Jets, but I'm not. I could definitely see one of those teams overachieving and getting to maybe 9 or 10 wins. It's possible. All right, let's see. Let Detroit have a chance, It's like the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're just horrible, you know what I mean? But if the new coaching staff, people think Tampa Bay's got a shot to get 9 or 10 wins. Some people supposedly do. I don't. You know what I mean? I think that the Panthers are going to be better. The Saints are going to be better. You might be able to compete with the Falcons for a little bit, but it just depends on Jameis. He's a knucklehead. He throws bad interceptions. He forces the football in double and triple coverage. The running game sucks with Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones. The O-line sucks. The secondary sucks. You got Sue up front. And, JPP's out. Levante David's going to be healthy. No more Quan. You got Devin White. There's a lot of holes there. So, I love Chris Godwin. He'll break out. Mike Evans will be great. O.J. Howard will be great. Cameron Brate will be a solid number 2 tight end with that double tight end set. But are they going to be able to legitimately beat up on the Falcons and the Panthers week in and week out when they play? I don't know. I don't think so. I think those teams probably will be better, more than likely, unless injuries collapse those teams, and then the Bucs can move ahead based off that only. Injuries, and then you take advantage, right? That's the only way the Bucs are going to get second place in the NFC South. Could it happen and they get to 8 or 9 wins? Yeah, but I doubt it. I mean, they got to be able to show me, when they start playing this season. I'd rather have Fitzmagic than Jameis, personally. I personally hope they tank, and I hope they lose all their games and they only win like 3 or 4. And then, if you want to fire Arians, whatever, but I would keep him and then try to get like a Herbert or try to start over and get someone else to come in. Because I don't want Jameis to have 3,000 or 4,000 passing yards, 25 to 30 TDs and 18 picks. And then you sign him long term, for, a 4-year extension and you overpay this guy. That'll be the worst move in Tampa Bay history. I can't have that happen. If that happens, I don't know if I can be a Buck fan anymore. I'm kidding. Of course I'm going to be a Buck fan, but that would just hurt so bad. That's the one player in the whole organization that I don't want anymore, period. But it is what it is. Stay a Bucs fan, man, just like I'm staying a Saints fan. Well, a Saints fan's easy to be a Saints fan. It's easy. It's been so easy to be a Saints fan. I mean, before when you had Aaron Brooks and you've had, a little ups and downs, with some of the roster. But once you got Drew Brees and Sean Payton, obviously it's a nice transition. And I feel that once Drew Brees is gone, you guys will be able to find another one if it's not Bridgewater or Taysom Hill. It's a fun team to watch, and they'll be able to find that next piece, period. Imagine your college team not being 1-0. You're funny. Shady on the Chiefs. We scoring 60 points a game. I don't know about 60, but you're going to definitely score a lot. And there will be some games where you might be able to get to that 60-point range. I know you're trolling right now and you don't really think you're going to score 60. But there'll be a lot of high 30s, 40s, and a few 50-point games. And if they do score 60 in a game, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Mr. Cole, how are you? I'm rewatching all the games from last year. I'm on the Ravens versus Chiefs right now, taking lots of notes. Perfect. And I know you're a hardcore fan. I hope you and Mrs. Cole are having a great Labor Day. Love both of you guys. I can't wait to watch Chiefs games with you guys all season. And we'll be doing some reaction videos with me and Marcus with the uploaded video with the highlights after the games are over. But here in the Northwest, if the Chiefs are on CBS with Romo and Nance, and then, regardless if Tampa Bay's on or anyone else, I'm going to try to do as many Chiefs games live, play-by-play, Eagles, Saints, Panthers. I'm going to try to do as many good matchups as possible. So I'm hoping that the Chiefs are on TV nationally, especially here in the Northwest, so I can actually, have you hop in the room and we can watch the game together. It would be exciting. It says, if the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl this year, we need better cornerbacks because we just picked up. Yeah, and that's the one position that you guys can have a little, a little concern for, the offensive line and the corners, the secondary. Not necessarily Thornhill and Honey Badger, but your corners and your O-line. But if you can sew that up, I don't know if there's anyone that can really beat you guys this season if everyone can stay healthy. Patrick the Clone Mahomes, crazy. Best friend, Cup is nice, very nice. Alex Brown and Torrey, yeah, I agree. There's some pieces that you need to get better, Mr. Cole. But like I said, if the safety position is great and your front seven is great, that'll hide some of the weaknesses at corner because you'll be able to get to the quarterback a lot sooner now with Frank Clark and Chris Jones. Chris Jones, right? So I wouldn't worry about it that much. Let's see here. Seen a lot of things saying there's a good chance the Jags cut Bouye after the season because of cap hit. Oh, yeah. If you can grab someone like that, that's game over. Then you're starting to really, really start to build a dynasty. You guys just need to get your first chip. Once you guys get your first chip, then you got to move forward. But I feel like moving forward, the Chiefs have like the most promise moving forward out of any NFL team as far as roster, coaching. They may not win it this year, but I think they can get there. But, it just depends with the Saints and how good they do. If they can end up playing a great football game with Sean Payton, if it ends up being Saints and Chiefs. But I definitely think that they're two of the best teams in the NFL, Saints, Chiefs, Eagles, you can throw up there as well. There's about 5 teams right now that I feel that are like Super Bowl worthy. But like I said, a lot can change from week 1 to week 16 or week 17. So we have to kind of wait and see. Melvin Gordon, I believe that he still has not signed yet. They are pretty much saying that they're going to, hold contract talks until the end of the season. So if that's the case, he could sit out the whole year. If that happens, then there's zero chance for the Chargers to make the Super Bowl, in my opinion. And you probably won't even be able to get to the AFC Championship game without Melvin Gordon. Eckler and, Jackson are good, but you need a 3-headed horse, not 2. And that's big facts. Let's see here. Ward and Breland and Fuller. Yeah, you got some nice pieces. I don't think they're horrible. You know what I mean? Like I said, they'll definitely need to play better. Yeah, and Thornhill and Matthew is great, and Matthew will be able to mentor him, so I'm excited for that too as well. And Javon says, Colts are not making the playoffs. They're still the most talented teams, but not without a starting caliber QB. Says who? Says you? Right? Because you don't believe in Brissett? Because he's not Andrew Luck? But if you have a great O-line play and your running game is decent and you get good wide receivers and your defense is good and you have great coaching and a great GM, why would they not make it? What, you think that the Texans are just going to run away with it? You're probably only going to get one team out of that AFC South that makes the playoffs. The other team might miss it because of the other wild card teams might have better records. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts and the Texans both make it, right? Or if only one team makes it. But, I mean, just because they got Tunsil and they ended up getting Kenny Stills, I wouldn't just write off Brissett just because he's not as good of a quarterback as Deshaun Watson. Personally, the team overall, for me, the Colts is better as a team. You know what I mean? You may not think so, but we'll see. You know what I mean? They might, flounder and they might lose some games. Obviously, Watson's a better quarterback than Brissett, but the one thing that Brissett has going for him, he's better than a game manager. Going into what happened with Andrew Luck, I thought he was a top 3 backup in the league. Now he's a starter. So he's one of those guys that learned from Tom Brady. You're in good hands, moving forward. It's a Band-Aid for a year or two, and you'll get someone better, but I still think that they can win the division at 10-6. I don't think it's impossible or thinking that there's no way, no how that they can't get there. Do the research. Look at their roster. It's possible. The Texans could get there, but like I said, they still have holes on their O-line. No Clowney. There's wiggle room there, and that's big facts. Ravens just released Dixon. Really? Interesting. I know there's going to be a lot of different people getting released within the last few days here. Let's see here. So Pacino fan, and obviously I'm going to do a Fanatic Fantasy Friday where you guys end up giving me your lineups or you have questions on who to start. Obviously, I'll be taking donations for the advice because I'm trying to help everyone win their league this season, but I'll be able to help everyone try to do their best. Obviously, in Fantasy Football League, a lot of teams and a lot of money is involved, so I get it. So Trubisky against the Packers or Rivers against the Colts. Well, Rivers is going to be at home. And Trubisky against the Packers, I think they're going to be handing the ball off a lot, and they don't have a whole lot of weapons on as far as wide receiver and tight end, Trey Burton, and you got Riley Ridley. You don't have a whole lot there. So, I mean, I imagine the defense will help them out a lot. They'll be running the ball in. But if I had to pick a quarterback, I'd probably go Rivers at home against the Colts just because that's going to be a better matchup, I believe, on week 1. I believe Rivers, the Chargers are at home at the Colts, so that's what I would do personally. Rivers is a better quarterback than Trubisky. I trust him more, even if Melvin Gordon doesn't play. And that's big facts. All right. Against Ramsey and get the Watkins brothers. Yeah. We'll have to see how that goes. Absolutely. Kirk Cousins is overrated. Well, I'm not sure if he's overrated or underrated. I think he's kind of middle of the pack. No one thinks he's a top 10 quarterback. Everyone has him like 11 to 15. But the thing is that even though sometimes he plays great and sometimes he plays like shit, right? You don't have to have an elite quarterback, right, to necessarily make it deep to the Final Four or to make the playoffs. If you have a good running game with Dalvin Cook, great wide receivers, right, and Diggs and Thielen, Rudolph, an above-average tight end, a good line, great defense. It's like the Cowboys kind of, set up as well. You don't need Dak to be a superstar to be able to make the playoffs. You just need him not to turn the ball over, right? And to be able to execute on third down and execute in the fourth quarter. But I don't think Cousins is as bad as people think. I mean, he definitely underachieved last year, but don't be surprised if the Vikings win the division this year at 11-5 and the Bears get second place, or if the Bears get first place at 11-5 and the Vikings make it over the Packers at 10-6. I think it's very possible. Big facts. Who takes a step back this year? Whew, that's a tough one. I mean, it just depends on injuries and really who scales back. I mean, if you're going based off, could be the Rams. I could see the Rams taking a step back this year, and the Seahawks, overachieve and then win the division just because you don't have Sue there anymore and the Gurley issue with the knee. But if I had to choose one team that might take a little bit of a step back, I think it would be them. That would be the main one that I could see taking a step back. But still, they have a great chance to win the division and make the playoffs as a wild card at the very least. I don't really see them not making the playoffs at all unless you have like Jared Goff go down with an injury or one of their real bell cows like Aaron Donald go down. That would be the only way. Let's see here. Rams will be back this year. Just watch. It's possible. I mean, Sean McVay to me is a top 3 coach, in the league, period. But if Gurley's not 100%, it's going to be tough to be able to compete with the Saints and the Eagles and the Bears. You know what I mean? They'll still be able to do it because Sean McVay is great and you got Wade Phillips. But, that's what really made them special is having that nice balance with Gurley and obviously with Kupp, best friend, Cooks, Woods, and the rest of the squad. And that's big facts. And no Sue there is definitely going to be a little bit of a hit. I mean, you got Aaron Donald, but having that tandem definitely took them over the top and got them to the Super Bowl, besides the bad call with the pass interference that wasn't called against the Saints in the NFC Championship game. And that's big facts. Tony Grady, Raiders. Honey Badger can get back to his all-pro form in KC. He's getting burned these past couple of years. And you're around better talent there now as well. So, I mean, there's definitely going to be room for, him to step his game up. Another guy that could step up big is Clinton Dix. He was on, the Packers. He started off kind of strong from Bama and had a couple shitty years. Now on the Bears with Khalil Mack and the rest of that roster, they're not going to let him just be a below average player. He's going to have to step his game up. And then Amos went from obviously, from one team, the Bears, to the Packers. So they made the little swap there. So it's really going to be interesting to see what the safeties do for the Packers and the Bears. And that's big facts. Bring back Chip Kelly. No, let's not. He can't even win in college right now at UCLA. So that's big facts there as well. Jordan Rodriguez, what to do, man? Hopefully you're having a good day, good Labor Day. Christy Rowell, Nolans Saints, how are you? Hopefully you guys are having a good Labor Day weekend. I was watching the Mariners and watching the Cubs. They're showing Griffey. And then I got some college football here that I'm going to change to. I'm going to be going to a barbecue to my girlfriend's parents' house. Oh, who is it? Oregon and Auburn. Well, why don't we just watch it again? See, the shit doesn't get painful for me. For other, fans, they love to talk shit about the other team or say they got cheated or it wasn't fair. I'm not like that. You know what I mean? I congratulated the Auburn fans. I don't care if you want to talk shit. Everyone has their favorite team. Some teams win, some teams lose. But one thing that I was proud of is that they played hard throughout the whole game. Their O-line has played the best that I've ever seen in probably 10 years. The defense played pretty damn good, a lot better than what I was used to seeing. They gave up some wide open throws. And obviously, the Moss throw at the end where you got Moss. Hey, it happens, And like I said, we had some of our guys banged up, but there was a chance to win, and they didn't get it done. Good teams win, bad teams lose, and sometimes you get a little unlucky there. But I was happy, with the effort that they put. A lot of people didn't think that they would win. I thought we'd have a great chance. Neutral turf. It's tough to win somewhere. Dallas Cowboy Stadium. AT&T there, but. Moving forward, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know what I mean? And I never give up on my teams. You got to think, I'm used to losing. Mariner fan. Haven't made the playoffs since 2001. Loser team. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, loser team. Haven't been to playoffs since 2007. Blazers, normally a loser team. They go to the first round in the playoffs and get knocked off. We made the West Finals this year. That was exciting, even though we got swept by the Warriors. But for a Blazer fan and all the heartache throughout all the years, that was fun to get them further than anticipated. Charles Barkley called it. The one thing that he got right, the Blazers made it to the West Finals, right? And then the Ducks are kind of up and down. Sometimes they'll have Heisman winners. Sometimes they go up. Sometimes they go down. But I'm a Duck for life. I mean, that's just how it goes. You win some, you lose some. You got to have a smile on your end of the face at the end of the day, though. Mr. Cole, keep up that good work. And we can't wait to sit with you and watch some Chiefs games. Oh, yeah, dude. Like, out of all the teams this season, the Chiefs, the Saints, Eagles, I think even though I'm a Bucs fan, I think I'm more excited to see those 3 teams play football and react to the games because everyone is talking shit about the Eagles saying that they can't win football games and Carson Wentz is wheelchair Wentz and he's not going to be able to stay healthy. I think he's going to return to MVP form. They're going to be fun to watch and they got one of the deepest rosters in the NFL from top to bottom. I love them. Nolans Saints, heartbreak 2 years in a row. I love this team. Kamara's my favorite player at running back in the league, and I'm a Bucs fan. I love Michael Thomas. I love Drew Brees, Rankins, Cameron Jordan, Lattimore. I mean, I love this team. It's hard because they're in my division. I'm not supposed to love so many players on a team that's in my division, but they are going to be exciting to watch because they're hungry, they're motivated. They got burned last season. They're going to come out with a passion, a fire, and an anger, right, that we haven't seen before. I'm excited to see what they can do. And then, obviously, with the Chiefs, what can you say? Patrick the Clone Mahomes, McCole Hardman, Legion of Zoom, Honey Badger, Frank Clark. I mean, the Juan Thornhill. I mean, they got so many weapons. I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do with Shady McCoy, right? Damian Williams, Tyreek the Freak Hill, Travis Kelce. I mean, so many good football players. They're going to be so fun to watch. And then when they play like the Chargers or the Patriots or some of the Pittsburgh Steelers, like these upper echelon teams in the AFC, it'll be interesting to see how they match up against the top tier AFC and NFC teams. But I'm excited to see it. LSU is going to be fun to watch when we get to see them next week. But I appreciate you guys. I hope everyone is having, a amazing Labor Day weekend. What do you expect Carson Wentz and the Eagles do in 2019? Philly Jim. Obviously, I picked the Eagles to win the Super Bowl when they played the Pats. I said they were going to win big by 9 or 10. They did. Eagles fans love me for that, and they know I call it right down the middle. I don't pick sides of anybody. I think they're going to win the division. Go 11-5 in the NFC East. No question, easily. Cowboys can hunt and peck and scratch and claw at 9 or 10 wins, but they're not going to be better than the Eagles this season. Wentz is going to be an MVP candidate. He's going to return to MVP form. They're very solid. I could see them making the NFC Championship game. If I had two teams right now that I believe that can make the NFC Championship game, it's the Eagles and the Saints. Chiefs and the Patriots. Those are the teams that I feel that have the best shot this year going into week 1. Are there other teams that can get in there? Of course. The Bears could get in there. The Rams could get in there, right? On the AFC, it could be the Steelers. You could throw them in there. I would say Chargers if they didn't lose Derwin James in this Melvin Gordon fiasco, but I really like their team. I love the Eagles roster, and I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up being Eagles-Chiefs, and you have an Andy Reid, kind of reunion there. It's possible. Anything can be possible in this NFL season. Tennessee and lose to Georgia State. Well, hey, it happens. I'm used to having my teams get beat up and lose a lot. It's all about how you get up from it and, how much you root for your team. Anyone can wear the jersey when your team wins. How about when your team loses? Can you still wear it with pride? You know what I mean? Not a lot of people can do that, and that's big facts. So, I don't know if you've seen Texas making fun of LSU. Yeah, definitely not smart. Ehlinger is nice at QB, top 5 Heisman candidate, right? But LSU, though, I love LSU players, being a Tampa Bay Buck, Devin White, and then all the history, Greedy Williams, Honey Badger, Patrick Peterson, right? I mean, the list goes on. Odell, Jarvis Landry. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. I love LSU as a college. They're one of my favorites to watch. Go Tigers! Geaux, not just the regular Go, right? Chrissy will let you know. But I love watching LSU football. It's some of the best football you can watch. They haven't really always had the best quarterbacks there. That's the one position they kind of lack on. Zach Mettenberger, you have certain guys that are decent, but they've never had like a top guy compared to like Alabama or Georgia or like a Clemson. But they're still fun to watch, and that's big facts. So, but I have to get going here. I'm going to be going to a barbecue with family. So I just wanted to make sure I got the stream out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But before I end it, I'm going to go over the schedule of the Monday night games in full real quick. So September 9th, Week 1, we got Texans at the Saints, Broncos at Raiders. Then we have Week 2, Browns at Jets. I love that matchup. September 23rd, Week 3, Bears at the Redskins. Now, that would have been in my top 10 if Haskins is playing by week 3, which I don't think he's going to be playing, but if he was, that would have been in my top 10 just to be able to see what they can do against that elite Bears defense. And then we got week 4, September 30th, Bengals at Steelers, one of the most heated rivalries, period, right, in all sports. And baseball with the Reds and the Pirates, Bengals, Steelers. They hate each other. It's going to be one of those games that probably the Steelers will blow them out, but I'm interested to see Tyler Boyd, avoid the Boyd, Mixon, Andy Dalton if he gets replaced by Finley at some point or another, but the Steelers should roll in that game, but it's a good rivalry matchup. Then we got week 5, October 7th, we got the Browns and the Niners. I like to see Baker on the road and Jimmy G and see how he plays. October 14th, week 6, the Lions, T.J. Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends to come into the league. Gronk 2.0 going on the road to the Packers. That'll be exciting. So we get to see Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones? And one of my favorite wide receivers and Devontae Adams. Then we go to week 7, the Patriots at the Jets. Can we see Le'Veon Bell score enough touchdowns to beat the Patriots at home? See Jamal Adams rough up someone on New England? To see C.J. Mosley rough up someone on New England? To see Quinnen Williams dominate the Patriots? I can't wait. That'll be a nice rivalry matchup in the division. Week 8, October 28th, Dolphins at the Steelers. Another Steelers matchup at home. Bengals and Dolphins. Come on, schedule makers. Make something better than that. If you're watching the Steelers, you want to see someone better than the Bengals and the Dolphins. How about the Browns or the Ravens? Come on, schedulers. And then we got November 4th, week 9. We got the Cowboys at the Giants. This would have been in my top 10 if Daniel Jones is starting by week 9. If Daniel Jones is starting with Saquon week 9, that's going to be must-see TV for me. For the Cowboys going on the road. November 11th, week 10. Seahawks Niners, amazing matchup. November 18th, week 11, the Chiefs and the Chargers, the best matchup in Monday night all year, in my opinion. November matchup. And then we got December 9th, week 14. And then in that week 14 matchup that we have on December 9th, if Daniel Jones is starting in this game as well, then you got Daniel Jones on the road against the Eagles. December 16th, week 15, the Colts at the Saints. And then the last Monday nighter, December 23rd, a couple days before Christmas, the Green Bay Packers and the Vikings play at home. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys enjoyed the Monday Night Madness. Hope you guys enjoy your Labor Day weekend. And I'll be back tomorrow with some videos, hopefully with Marcus. We'll go over Oklahoma and Houston. We'll do that reaction together tomorrow, which I wanted to do today, but he had some obligations. And then we're getting ready for the NFL season. So I got one question for you guys. Who you know talks sports like us? Your boy Orion, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Have a great Labor Day weekend, y'all. Peace.